The whole carbon thing and climate change is critical for us. It's very important. It's a big part of our costs. It's part of the way that we manage the company. But it's not transformative, the effect that it will have on us. In the last few years, it has moved right up the agenda. Britvic subject to the climate change levy. SSL isn't, but is likely to be subject to the carbon reduction commitment. But in the last few years, in terms of the way of the governance, we've made huge progress. Both companies, it's on the board agenda twice a year, taken very, very seriously. And both companies have made huge progress. I mean, for example, Britvic, since 1997, has reduced the energy per unit that it uses in all its products by 45%, which is considerable. And SSL in the last couple of years have achieved 11%. There's lots of projects going on, which are described in the documents I've given you. I think probably the most important, in SSL's case, in the plants in India, we have 3 factories in India, and they're all using solar energy for drying of the condoms and for heating up the water which washes the condoms, and for the lighting. Big use of solar energy, and that's made a big difference to us. And we're in the process of commissioning this huge new plant in Qingdao in China. And the energy efficiency of that plant will be 20% better than the energy efficiency of our other plants. And that's all to do with the recycling of the heat and of the water that goes into the process for washing and drying the condoms. Also, the lighting at Qingdao is particularly efficient because it's been designed into the building. In Britvic's case, I guess the 2 most important things we've done in the last few years is bringing all our bottling in-house, which saved a lot of emissions on transport. And there's been a lot of work done in the last couple of years, 3 years, in making our bottles lighter. Both companies have got the governance in place. They've got the plans, they've got the targets going forward. Britvic's targets actually go out to 2020, and both companies are delivering. And I think we should remember that business is only between 30 and 40% of the UK's emissions. Business can't do it all by itself, but business has, in our case, is on the case and doing it. There are some huge imponderables in this area, and as a country, we're not going to make our commitments unless some of these imponderables are addressed by the government, and that's stuff that business can't do by itself. What do I mean by imponderables? Things like renewable energy, things like nuclear, things like the Thames barrage, which I think by itself could reduce the country's emissions by some 5%. Incentives for electric cars, for example, or for energy efficient white goods. Those are the big imponderables and the big sort of uncertainties the government have got to focus on, rather than focusing on industry, which has basically, for the moment, got what it needs. Going forwards, I think it's going to become increasingly important. We are businesses at the beginning of the journey. Our customers are at the beginning of the journey. There is inevitably more to do, which business will do. There's more to do in terms of measuring our carbon footprint, product development, in terms of integrating it into our culture, into our whole DNA. And I guess that's the basic message that I would have for any other chairman, is that this is with us now. It's going to get bigger. In the same way that we think about our brands and about our consumers and about our people and about profit, we've got to think about carbon. And I think thinking carbon is going to come into the agenda and be integrated in with everything else that we do.